first,
Where
so
you
I'll
at?
be.
Wow, I feel good. Uh-oh. I just got a James Brown something flashback or something like that. I'm sorry, y'all. Hello, everybody. Hi, and welcome to our take on it, featuring Slim and Shona from P-Town to ATL.
And
And we
James
have a
Brown,
special,
apparently.
yes, yes. And just bear with me. Every once in a while, I get these flashbacks. It might be James Brown. It might be, Bobby Brown.
Please do not quit your day job, James. Just please
Oh,
don't.
I thought
Don't
you
quit
were
my.
going to sing
Oh, okay.
James Brown. Please, please, please don't go.
Yeah, it seemed like he got you too. But anyway,
See how
hello
much I
everybody,
Okay.
and we miss you from last week. We every week we are anxious to see you. And Shona, how you doing? How you doing? How's everything?
I am super fantastic, James.
Yeah.
Ask
Before
me
we get
why.
into our special guest, how's the new baby?
That's why I'm super fantastic.
Oh,
I
okay.
was
Yeah.
blessed on Thanksgiving Day. She was my Thanksgiving blessing. She arrived at 7 pounds and 2 ounces. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm in love again.
Yes, and this is another great, right?
That is correct. And you know
Another
what?
great.
When I thought about the blessing just yesterday, I had an epiphany. I don't know anyone else who has six great grandchildren.
Uh,
You hear the pause?
Yeah, I think we probably could go through our 300 and some class members and probably find very few that
I
in
feel
that
divinely
class.
blessed.
That's amazing though. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes, and what an amazing blessing that is too.
It is.
Just to have that, see that legacy continue and
Yes.
grow, and just your contributions to the world. Just keep on
Exactly.
adding people to society, and hopefully they'll make a difference, just like you are right now, and you have been most of your life. So we have a special guest, and Shona, you want to introduce our special guest and what we're going
Oh,
to talk about this evening? One of
absolutely.
the things, no telling where we might go, but
Let
anyway,
me first just say I am happy to be with you. We're right back at you, and we're going to keep coming back. So get used to us. How about that? We
that,
have with us a favorite friend of the show, and she is Miss Chris Gaillard. She's going to talk with us about being safe during the winter in your vehicle. And I chose her to bring this topic to us because she has extensive history dealing with vehicles. So, in my mind's eye, she is an expert. Um, Chris, thank you for being with us. And can you please share with us how much experience you have in your credentials as an over the road driver? Um, First of all, let me just interject. I remember Chris from before she ever even got her CDL, way back when she was in her early 20s. She was underneath and over top of and under the hood of cars, fixing cars. She always maintained her own vehicles. I thought that was so amazing. Um, Chris, tell us
and
about your
Shona,
experience.
before you
Yes,
go there, and what's
yes.
so amazing about what Chris does? I knew somebody like her as well that was proficient in knowing cars, and one of the things that helped her when she went to get her car fixed, a lot of the guys at the place thought she didn't know what was going on,
I
and they
bet.
tried to pull something over on her. You know, said, "Here's this lady coming in here," and she said, "There's something going on with my car." And she played them. She played them. And I heard this knock knock sound just to see what they were saying. They went through all this stuff and telling her she needed this, and then she let them know, no, that's not what you know. That's not what it needs. And she showed them she knew exactly what was going on and exposed them for trying to, take advantage of her because she was a woman.
I
Right.
And
know.
I think, and that was a long time ago. I think, most people know better now, but that was a lesson to those guys. Uh, their intent was to get over on her because they didn't think she knew what was going on. So,
Right.
uh, I just had to throw that point in there. And I don't know if you had that experience, Chris, but if you do, let us know.
Yeah,
No,
let's talk about all of that.
overabundance of it, and overabundance of it
Mm,
actually.
mm,
Yeah,
mm, mm, mm,
especially
mm.
when I stopped working on vehicles and got into trucking. Yeah,
Okay, well,
most
tell us
yeah.
about your driving experience first of all.
Well, if can I give you go back a little bit further
Absolutely.
than when I actually got into cars. They, my father owned a service station. Esso service station before it became Exxon, back in the early 60s and in Birmingham, Alabama. Um, and that's where I learned my franchise, basically how to own a franchise and run a business, even though I was only 4 years old, because I was able to pump gas and learn how to do inventory and everything, and watch cars come in and out, watch the guys working on the cars, change tires and wash cars and all of that. And then fast forward, in high school, uh, it's probably right around the time Shona and I met. I was being taught by a mutual friend of ours how to rebuild drag race engines.
Yes.
And he taught me basically, and I just love to work with my hands. And fast
We went to
forward
the
from that,
racetrack.
right, we went to the drag racing out in Suffolk.
Yeah.
That track is no longer open.
Sunday.
Yep.
Remember the
Uh,
radio program Sunday at the racetrack in Suffolk. Go ahead.
yep. And then we went up to Hopewell sometimes too, to race on the I think it was a quarter mile, eighth mile track, in Hopewell. But at any rate, fast forward from that, went into the Marine Corps. Spent 4 years as a auto mechanic, as a mechanic in the Marine Corps. Um,
Did she go back to the Marine
different.
Corps?
Huh?
No,
So what?
I
What?
said, did you go back to the Marine Corps?
no.
No.
You went out. You went out for a minute. And she thought you had left us
Oh,
and thought
oh,
you,
no.
Re-enlisted.
re-enlisted. But
No, no, I didn't go back to the Marine Corps. No, no. Got out of the Marine Corps and was hired at. I worked for practically every dealer, manufacturer that there is. First started out with Ford, right out there in Chesapeake. No, sorry, I apologize. I came out and was hired at a Toyota dealership in Alexandria, Virginia. Um, Fast forward, went to moved back home to Tidewater. Worked out in Chesapeake, various dealerships there, Honda, Chrysler, Ford, General Motors, all of those. Then went into business for myself. I was used to um, be a mobile technician. I used to go to people's houses and repair their cars or their business, and do minor work. And I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think I was probably uh, was one of the pioneers of the mobile repair back in the early 90s. This happened in
I
the early
bet.
90s. Um, and then fast forward, where did I go from there? Oh, after I kind of got out of working on cars in 2015, and that's when I started driving trucks. Um,
At age
because car
15.
at no at in 2015.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I was
That
like,
would have been amazing. 15-year-old
yeah.
truck driver.
I was a little confused.
Am I coming in and out here or something? So
No, no. If you see, I'm doing that. I might feature you by yourself, and I might, show the three of us. So if you see some changes to the screen, it's just me playing around over here.
oh, okay, all right. So so that's where I've basically got my experience from. I used to work on my own truck because I was the owner operator. It saved myself a lot of money working on my truck. I didn't do a lot of the major jobs, but I did what I could, especially when I was got stuck on the road. So all of my background helped me uh, basically do real well out on the road as a truck driver. And yes, I did run into several issues when I had to take my truck in at truck stops, and these guys want to tell me some news that I knew was incorrect, and I would have to straighten them out. And then they get mad at me and try to give me
Because you
even
were
a
right.
harder time because I was be right. So and that's my background basically, just to bring it straightforward.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Chris, before you talk more about winterizing your car and being
Hmm.
safe on the road, especially during the winter conditions that we have,
Hmm.
women don't always have to be as knowledgeable as you or the lady I knew. But watching shows like this or other shows sometimes just to get a basic knowledge of
Hmm.
what's going on with your car or something like that is a good
Right.
thing because it's still people out here that will really take advantage, even though it's an open field for everybody now. You see more women in the auto mechanic field, like
Yeah.
as opposed to long time ago, but it's still women that go out here and some men that don't know a lot. If you don't go in
That's
there
correct.
letting them know that you know what's going on, they will take advantage of you. I've been taken advantage of because I don't know a lot about it. I've
Hmm.
had guys change my oil when it didn't need, but now I make sure I keep a record. Anytime
Right.
I change my oil or
Right.
pay attention when the
Good
cars will
point.
tell you now a lot of
Yeah.
things, but still keep that record. And I just wanted to make that point, is just having that basic knowledge and watching some shows, or if they have questions, contacting someone like you
Hmm.
before, or take someone like you with them,
Hmm.
when they go to an auto mechanic or even to the dealership, you could get taken there as well. So
Right.
I just wanted to make that point, because we just don't have a whole lot of money to be wasting. And there's a lot of grifters out there that they just want to make money for the company, and they will take advantage of.
Well, and to your point of taking somebody with you, what I found a lot of times, which really amazed me, when the people are interested in purchasing a used car, in particular, they don't take the car for a test drive, and
Right.
I have never ever understood that. Um, you need to know how the car drives. Just going around the block is not
Yeah, not
sufficient.
going around.
It's not sufficient. Um, and if you're going to go on a test drive, take it. If that dealership doesn't want, or that if that dealership or person is selling it privately doesn't want you to take it on at least a 15-20 minute ride,
Yeah,
then
interstate.
it's not. Yeah, interstate turns, everything. Then that's maybe something that you shouldn't be interested in.
Right.
Because it takes a while, number one, for the car to warm up. You should never drive a car when it's cold, um, because everything has to warm up, especially now since it's getting becoming winter, um, and you can't
So you're
hear
saying
all of
even in the
those.
spring and summer, you need to let it run a little bit. Is
Right?
that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay, go
yeah.
ahead.
I mean, if but particularly in the summer, in the wintertime, because it takes time for the car to warm up, as well as driving it, it takes a while. It takes a while for all of the bearings and whatnot to become lubricated to where you can hear noises. See, um, that's something that's kind of boggled me about people just not test driving a car. New cars, you know, you more than likely 99% of the time you're not going to hear anything, right? Because it's
And the
brand new.
warranty is a lot better for a new car as far as.
Yeah, in a lot of instances, right, exactly. So that's one thing that kind of boggles me. But when Shauna asked me to do this, um, I was trying to think about the difference now between electric cars, hybrid cars, and gasoline cars, which there's still a lot of gas and diesel vehicles on the road. Um, um, and as an old school person, uh, I'm more apt to want to drive a gas car. I'm just gonna say it. Um,
Mhm.
but I'm not of the new age. I mean, I come from the carburetor world. And when they started going into fuel injection and all of this kind of stuff, you, the old OGs as they call us now, um, we would become like, man, I want to know how this works. Well, now today they don't actually allow technicians to take things apart and find out what fails because it's cheaper for you to replace the entire unit, right, on a car than it is to take it apart and put it together. As is, you used to be able to take your car to the shop, and if you needed an engine, they do the whole overhaul right there in the shop. Well, now they just order the whole unit, and you just swap the engine out. Okay,
Mhm.
because they found that it's I don't know whether it's cheaper for you to do that, but in essence, in time, it's probably better for the customer to
It's
have
not
that,
cheaper for
for
you to
the
pay for.
have to. It's not cheaper. What?
It's not cheaper for you to pay for. I don't find them to be any cheaper than they
Well, you're
used to
paying
be.
you're basically you're paying more for the actual engine or transmission than you would, but then you have all the different parts too. So I'm not sure. I can't really remember how all of that calculated, but I think the advantage would be is the turnaround time for the customer. You order car comes in, you order the engine, you get the engine in it, and you're out in less than a week or a couple of
And
days, depending
a
on the
lot of the
technician.
mechanics, a lot of the mechanics now are probably not trained to break an engine completely down
Oh,
because if
exactly.
they're coming out
That's
new,
true.
they don't even go through that. They just say,
Well,
"Oh, let's replace," like you said, replace the unit.
a lot of
They know how to do
technicians
that, but just
today,
to break it down.
right? A lot of technicians today don't even know how to work on these electric cars because in the past, a lot of people are scared of electricity and how it flows and how relays and fuses and wiring works. And just the other day, I think it was the Ford CEO came up and said that they're short on technicians. They don't have the trained technicians and the people who work on their cars. And I believe that because a lot of these electric cars, they don't have the trained personnel in the dealerships to work on them. Um,
Bluetooth
and
disconnected.
uh-oh, am I still here?
Yeah, you still here? Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Shona
Um,
said she might occasionally have to tap out and come back,
oh,
but go
okay.
ahead.
Okay. Um, and from my experience back in the day when I was working on them, because I stopped working on them in 2015, was that the shortage of people that were actually ASE certified um, were weren't certified in electrical, and it's because they're just scared of it seems like they're scared of shorting out something or not really trained how to go about doing that an electrical repair. So now it's come forward where these technicians, they kind of not that kind of, I think that they, I mean, the manufacturers are sending people to school, all right, but it's just that working on electric vehicles isn't all that interesting anymore.
Yeah,
So
it's going to take
that's
a while for it to get there. But let me ask you this, Chris. As far as preparing your cars for the winter season,
mm-hmm,
and it's certain amount of preparation for the summer as well. But for the winter, it's some things you should do, and basically, you know, regardless of what kind of car you have, there are some basic things that you need to do to
right,
have your car ready for, you don't want to get stranded for one thing. So I
right,
guess you can talk about those basic things you need to do to prepare your car, and
mm-hmm,
also some basic things nowadays that you need to have in your car, especially
right.
if you travel a lot, like a
Mm.
portable battery, things like that. But talk about, the preparation that that a lot of us don't do when the weather changes, even if it's simple as cold, as the cold, as the temperatures drop, especially if it drops below 32 degrees, which is
Mm-hmm.
freezing, you have to be concerned about that. But talk about that, the preparation. That
Well, the first thing that comes to me is tires. Um,
Yes.
tires are very important. Uh, so I can't remember exactly when tire pressure monitoring systems came out on cars, but they're the um, there's a little tire that will appear on your dash.
Mhm.
And some cars have individual sensors that display in your dash or in your center console, in the center console of your car, that tells you that your tire is low. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And I don't recommend anybody to rely on that system. Maybe newer cars, but there's a couple of things that people get confused on when they see that tire pressure light come on. And whenever the car comes more than 4 pounds below its actual tire pressure, there's a label that's, as you open your door, either on the door seal itself or on the door post, you'll see your tire pressure label there. Excuse me. If it's like, let's say, an average of 32 pounds for each tire, if it gets down to 29 pounds, that light's going to come on. If it's, or 20, let's say 28 pounds, because they're geared to come on before you have a flat. You want it to come on before you have a flat, right? So don't be totally alarmed if you see that light. What you need to do is just go outside and go and walk around your car to make sure that there's nothing exorbitantly low, okay, or extremely low. Um, Now, if you also see it in cold weather, what does air do? Air, um, what's the word?
Contract.
Yeah, air contracts, right? Rubber contracts.
That's
And
cool.
so your temperature, if when you parked your car, if your tire pressure was at 32 pounds, overnight, if it's 32 or below zero outside, the pressure in your tire is going to go down. So when you get in it in the morning, those monitoring lights are going to be on. Okay. If they've dropped down below the value in which they're triggered to come on. All right. Um, but the most important thing is for you to walk around your car to make sure that something isn't very low. Now, what you could do is drive. You as you drive, your tire is getting warmer. As the tire is getting warmer, the air is expanding and causing the tire to inflate. All right. And eventually the light should go off. If the light doesn't go off, then I would expect that what I would recommend you to do is go to like these places who have free air. Hopefully your monitoring light will tell you exactly what pressure that is. Okay. And you go to those places and have them uh, and 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 inflate it uh, to the pressure that it states on the side, or maybe you can even go 1 or 2 pounds over in the wintertime, so that when you are in the house, and that 1 or 2 pounds is not going to hurt anything. It really isn't. It's not going to give you a much harder ride or anything like that. You're just compensating for the amount of air, the
Contraction
amount
and
the amount of air that it loses overnight. In the summertime, it's not going to do that because it's still hot outside.
Mhm.
That's one thing that I have seen people do. But if it if it does it all the time, it stays on all the time, you got something wrong, and I highly recommend you to take care of it. Um, and sometimes, if your spare, some cars are hooked to your spare tire, and if your spare tire is low, and you've checked all of your tires in the car, you need to check your spare tire to make sure it's at its proper poundage as well,
Yeah,
because
a
it
lot of
can
people
tell
don't
you,
check that,
especially
and
especially trucks.
yeah, a lot of people don't check that, and then you have a situation where you need it, and you don't have
Right,
the proper tire in your spare.
right,
People just assume that that's okay, but you need to,
right,
when you check all your other tires, make sure you check that spare as well.
right. Now, I will say also that these hybrids and these electric cars, some people don't have a spare. And that's designed on purpose because the federal government has come out and told the manufacturers that they need to make these cars as light as possible so they can get as far as possible, right? And save on fuel. And they've come in with an inflatable tire to try to fix the tire or inflate the tire that you have on your car. Well, what if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you have a blowout? What are you going to do? You don't have a tire to replace the tire that's on your car. So you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere with a blown tire that you can't repair because there's no repair facility accessible to you. So I don't understand, I think that was a total failure um, in the safety of a person owning their vehicle. So that's the other thing that I'm like, it's like one of my pet peeves is, you know, everybody doesn't know how to change a tire. Everybody does. If you have a blowout in the middle of you don't give them the proper equipment to change that tire so they can get out of harm's way. So, and that's something else I have to talk about too. We can go on and on about stopping on the side of the road. That's one of my pet peeves, especially since I became a truck driver. I've seen too many accidents and people getting killed because people aren't moving over when they come up on a vehicle that's
that's equal safety.
that is on the shoulder. And
Yeah.
please, if at all possible, do not stop on the left side. It's the left side of a highway when it's in one direction. That's not designed for you to stop unless you absolutely have to. If there's no other ultimatum to move over to the right. But when you move over to the right, Virginia State policeman told me one time, just get off onto the grass because there are too many people that have been killed because the traffic slows down and somebody's not watching and they're about to rear end somebody. And the only option that they have is to go off to the side of the road, and that shoulder has a broken down vehicle on it. Well, guess what's going to happen? A serious accident, possibly somebody to lose their life. So that's something that I have learned, especially when you have a broken down truck. Um, Please get over. It doesn't take you anything to just move over, because if you get caught hitting that person, you're going to get charged for manslaughter.
Yeah.
That's without a doubt,
Yeah.
because
And
you
Shona,
didn't,
Shona,
especially,
I wanted to say,
especially,
Shona, we lost a classmate not too long after we graduated from that same type of situation.
Who was it?
Thomas Norman pulled
Hmm.
over to change a tire, and you know, cars speeding by. You know, I think it's a law now where they ask you to either try to get in the other lane if you see a
right?
distressed car, or
Yes,
slow down at least. And I know, but
right.
I've stopped on the side of the road and people pass right by me going, where the car shakes,
Yes,
with no regard for
no,
that person that might be in distress, and
exactly,
always try, to move over to the other lane,
right.
or if
It
you
takes nothing
if you're
to do
gonna
that.
assist that person, but
Let me tell you,
because they
it is
might
the
open
law
the
here.
car door, whatever.
It
Hmm.
is the law here in Georgia, and it is still happening far too frequently that people are getting killed on the side of the road. Even police officers are getting
Hmm.
hit
Yep.
by
Yeah,
cars.
traffic
One here,
stops.
here
Yeah.
in Virginia just got killed, just got hit by a motorist because they didn't get over. I mean, I just, I'm sorry, y'all. It just really ticks me off. I think it kind of like my awareness just went up even more being a truck driver, because I've been stranded out there on the road, and I've been,
Hmm.
and issue was on the left side of my truck, and I had people
Mm,
that had ample opportunity to get over into the left lane to avoid me,
yeah.
but yet they just don't do it. And
Or at least slow
I don't
down if they
understand it.
can't get
At
over. If
least
they can't get over, at
exactly,
least slow down. And
exactly.
we'll talk about the drivers and things like that as we go on tonight, because there's some things I wanted to bring up that drivers need to be aware of. When you're on the road, you have to think about the other person. I mean, you seem like drivers now that all they do, everybody's in a rush, and
Right,
all they do is think about themselves and where
right,
they want to go, and
right,
somebody's too slow in front of them, and you don't know why that person is slowing down. they,
right.
they might be slowing down because of something they see that you don't see, and
Exactly.
and then they'll pull around even if the lines is double. I mean, not double, which means no passing. Pull around you and go around you, and they might run into something. But anyway, that's get back to preparing your car for the winter. Some of the other things that let me put this up. Some of the other things you should be aware of.
Okay. So you waiting on me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I
All right.
just put
So
that
for
up.
okay. So the next thing I would say would be your battery. Um, right now, I think everybody needs to go to one of these auto parts places who can check your battery for free. Excuse me. um, and just have it checked, because one night you can be coming out from the movies or from dinner or whatever reason, and you go to start your car up and it goes click, click, and and click, click, and it's not going to start.
And it's
Um,
freezing outside.
and it's freezing outside, and you're highly upset because, oh, now your battery is dead. Um, so I would go and get your battery checked right now, because harsh winter isn't here yet, and I don't know about Atlanta that much, other than sometimes you all do have harsh winters. But here, my living in the Richmond area, and
Mm.
I know sometimes Portsmouth can, Tyrwood area can get stuff when it comes from the south. But especially people who live in Northern Virginia, anywhere up north, particularly, is to get your battery checked now, so that you'll know and be prepared for the fact of either you need one or you're going to need one soon. and it doesn't cost you anything to go in there to have it checked for free.
Right.
Um, so
Even if you
that's
have a
would be the
portable
next
battery charger, if your battery is dead, it's dead.
right. Right. Well, at that point, you could also have another issue. You can have an alternator issue,
Yeah.
Mm.
especially if it's not charging the battery back up. And you can sometimes you can normally check that what while it's running to watch your lights dimming. If you light, and this is just from my experience, it's gas operated cars now. I'm not talking about electrical cars. Um, so that is one thing that you really is the two options. I mean, the two items that you would need to get checked is your battery. Now, also on your battery, if you were one to do some inspection on your battery, if you look under your hood and you see that is damp on top, that means that the battery's leaking, and it's on its last life. You can clean it off with some Coca-Cola or some soda. Um, um, what is the stuff called? The Arm and Hammer soda powder, right?
Baking
The
soda.
baking soda. Yeah, you
Baking
can pour
soda.
that
Yeah.
baking soda. You can pour that on there, and then rinse it off really well. Just make sure that you wear gloves, that you wear the eye protection and whatnot before you do this, because the acid
Good
could
point.
harm you. Um, so and don't splash it everywhere. Watch your shoes when the water drains down through the bottom. Just don't allow it to touch your shoes, or wear something to protect them. Um, but if you see the corrosion, now sometimes I will tell you this is not something that I recommend, but people have sold it. It's the little battery protectors that people give you, the little red and green protector or black corrosion protectors. And sometimes people use the some grease. Well, grease attracts dirt. So if you put the grease there, you're causing the dirt to collect on your battery prematurely, which causes pre pre corrosion, pre rusting, pre
Like
wear.
like
And
Vaseline.
I personally don't recommend it. I just think the terminals should stay dry.
But I mean,
If they
that's the type
start
of grease that you're talking about, like Vaseline.
Yes, some like
Okay.
some people use Vaseline, some people use the the spray protectant and whatnot, and
Hmm.
it's everybody's choice, right? But I have always recommended to use nothing, because if as long as it stays dry, there's less of a chance that it's going to attract dirt
Corrode, yeah.
Yeah.
and
Save that Vaseline for your
prematurely,
elbows,
right?
especially in the winter.
Right.
Save that. Chris,
Right.
Chris, let me say this. Do you remember when back in the day when people would get a new car, the first thing they do, they take it to the friends or the friends come over. One of the first things they did was open the hood and look at look under the hood. And
Right.
and the reason I say that, what people should do now is also make sure you look under a new car or a new car to you and know where everything is, because
Right.
sometimes the batteries under some of these cars are not readily
Right there.
exposed.
Right. That's correct.
It's covered up with something, and sometimes you don't even have to go directly to the battery to charge it. It's
Right.
other places you do it, because where I looked under the hood one time, couldn't find the battery. I said, well, wait a minute now, but I was used to older cars, and
Mhm.
all the batteries was right there, but it was covered up.
Right.
So my point is, make sure before you on a road at night somewhere, and
Mhm.
you're trying to figure out,
Wait, right.
where is what
That's a
is
very
what.
good. That's very
Know
good.
what's under
Right.
your hood and where it is, because a lot of new cars, it's a lot different. So, you know,
Right.
make sure you read that manual and know.
Right. In particular,
Yes.
Chrysler cars are normally under the back seat. The battery is under
Yeah,
the back seat.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you
So
never find it. If you
yeah.
don't know that, you would never
Right.
think to look under the back
Right.
seat for the battery.
Right. Right. Exactly. So you're absolutely right. And then the next step would be your coolant on your gasoline cars and your hybrids. Is to make sure that your coolant is fine.
Even in the
Normally,
winter, you're cooling. And
particularly in the wintertime,
most people just
particularly in
think
the
about that
wintertime,
during the summer.
right? Because it's easy. Everything is easy in the summertime because nobody wants to stand out here and out there in 30-degree weather checking on anybody's hood, even their own. Even I hesitate to do it, but I know I got to do it.
Yeah.
And also learn how to wear to check your oil. Um, and another thing is your air filter. Check and make sure where your air filter is. It's so easy. A lot of times it's so easy to get to. Some you have to do a little work to check it, but that can also increase or keep your mileage up. And a dirty air filter can draw it's just like your lungs. Okay, your air filter is it's like your lungs to your car. And if you can't breathe, you something's wrong with your lungs, and you don't want your lungs to be contaminated. So you need to change. Fortunately, you can change the air filter on your car. You can't just automatically change your lungs out, but to change your air filter can be relatively easy to do, and it should be done. Um, for me, it's like every 15,000 miles or a year. Some cars may need it more often than others, especially if those cars that do a lot of highway driving, particularly the people that drive an hour in and out of from work. Okay, not the people that really kind of drive in town, but very short distances. But a lot of people that live in town now, they catch the metro. They don't really drive. It's the people that are on the road a lot.
Now, Shona, you fall in that category, right? But not
Ooh,
not daily, but maybe on a weekly basis,
pretty
going
much.
back and forth.
Yes. Let me ask you a question, Chris. How often should you check your wheel alignment?
Um, it depends. Well, in a lot of places today, there's so many
You on a
potholes,
bumpy road.
so many so many rugged roadway. Um, it really depends on your driving. It used to be annually. I don't
Okay.
recommend it to be out annually, but you can take it and normally, to be quite honest, if the technician is going to definitely check, they have to put it on an alignment machine, period. And it takes time to hook all of the instruments up to your vehicle. So they may say, well, we'll check your alignment. But then if it's already checked up, you might as well just have them go ahead and do the alignment, which shouldn't take very much longer, because the main process of hooking the car up to an alignment machine is the major part, because they have to take measurements of where your wheels are. So you basically already more than halfway through the alignment when they do the alignment. So if you just say, well, I just need an alignment, but rotating your tires is really important if you have the same size tire all the way around, because some of these cars today, they will have a smaller tire on the front than on the rear. So a lot of cars don't have to have their tires can't have their car tires rotated. But the average mileage that you should have your tires rotated is 6,000 miles, every 6,000 miles.
Hmm.
But just make sure that you keep your tire pressure up as well.
And tell people that don't know the reason for that. I think it's most people know, but for those who don't know the reason for rotating your tires, um,
Yeah, well,
on
rotating when you're steering on your front, you're wearing out the inner and outer edges of your tire more than the rear of the vehicle. And the edges wear. So
Yeah.
if you don't ever if you don't ever rotate, then if you have the you wear out your front tires, and you still have plenty of tread on the rear. Whereas if you rotated them, you extend buying tires for quite some
Yeah.
time.
Cost saving. Yes.
Yes, it's very cost saving. So yes, rotating is very important as well. So and that's for any car today. I don't care if it's a Tesla. I don't care if it's electric. I don't care. You know, that process has not changed at all. Is
Mhm.
when you're rotating your tire.
Let me share with you why I asked about wheel alignment, because this is something I knew nothing about. Really, I bought a car, had it for a year, and as you know, I drive at least once every week or 2 weeks. I drive about 600 miles to go home and back. So after a year, I figured, well, I've had this car for a while. It's time for me to get some more tires. So I go to a little place and ask them how much of their tires. They looked at my tires. They said, "Come in, let me show you something." I'm like, okay. So, they asked me to get in the car and turn the wheel, to the left and turn it to the right, while we're looking at the tires. The tires looked fine all the way around the car on the outside. But if you went to the front or the back and looked under the car, there were wires popping out of all four tires. They were
Oh
horrible
wow.
And
Wow.
that's very,
because I
very
needed a
dangerous.
wheel
Wow.
alignment so badly.
Very dangerous.
Wow.
That,
Yes,
Wow.
yes. I couldn't even go
Wow.
home that weekend because I couldn't get my tires. So that was a very costly lesson
Mm-hmm.
after, about $1,400. And
Mm-hmm.
I got my
Exactly.
Michelin's, but
Mm-hmm.
like he said, that's dangerous. So I
Mm-hmm.
made sure that I went for those who don't know, what is it, Tires Plus? They have a
Mm-hmm.
lifetime wheel alignment program. I made sure I invested in that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
just it was horrible. Just
Right.
tires, all four tires.
Now, what I will say for the state of Virginia, a lot of people may hate me for saying this, but I like the annual state inspection. Now, it depends on where you take it. And I hope that and there may be some facilities out there that take advantage of that, but you can always report that facility. Um, but it's also good for you to know what's in a state inspection as far as here, what's here in Virginia. Um, and it's an annual inspection. But in that 6 months though, it would be good for you to just take it in and have your car checked over. Like when you go in for your oil change, just have it checked
Yes,
over and find yourself a reliable technician or a repair facility that you can take it to where you know that they're going to take care of you. They're not going to just, try to push something on you just because they're behind that month in sales. Because some places pay their technicians by the hour and plus commission, and then some places just pay them by the hour, and then a lot of dealerships, I don't know if they've changed, but a lot of dealerships they pay you by flat rate hour, which means that if a oil change takes in half an hour to basic at half an they have a flat rate hour amount to charge the customer for that oil change. And if they take 15 minutes, they you still get charged, which is all fair because it depends on the experience of that's the way I used to get paid. Um, and just if and we got paid. Well, we still technicians still get paid all different types of ways. And just find a reputable repair facility. I always use Google. Not trying to get them any hype or any props or anything. But a lot of times the reviews, if people are used to doing reviews on when they're doing their research for these facilities, yeah, you're probably going to have a disgruntled person every once in a while, that just did not like their service. But if the average stars are like fours and whatnot, of even three and a halves, fours,
Check the
um,
rating. Yes.
and yeah, and read the comments about read the comments about what the reviews are talking about, and that should give you a good feel about what that facility is like, and then maybe even go in there one time for something very simple to see how they're going to treat you, and then that could very well become the place for you to go.
Yeah, and before I take this checklist down, the last one on here says the snow and ice removal tools. A lot of times
Mhm.
people don't have you never know. Like you mentioned about going into a movie, and all of a sudden it starts. It doesn't take long for your windshields and everything to
Right.
be loaded up with snow, especially if it rains first before the snow comes,
Hmm.
and you get the
Right.
ice on the bottom of
Right.
that snow, and you don't
Right.
have a de-icer or something like that.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
it, it, it's you can get the snow off, but then you still got the ice there, and you might have to wait a certain amount of time for that defroster to work if it works. But
Right.
you know, so it's good to have something in there.
Well, I will say I've seen a lot of wiper blades come in broken because people don't want to take the time to wipe the snow or ice off, and the wiper blade is stuck to the windshield
Mm.
and from the ice freezing, and they turn on they think that the wiper blade is just going to wipe. Well, you stand a chance on their wiper blade breaking or come popping loose, because they're designed, and maybe that they're designed to break loose from the arm that it's attached to um, when under pressure, and that it doesn't always work. And if you turn, you can burn your motor up, in addition to having to have your wiper blades replaced. And
Mm.
then if it breaks away from the piece that it's attached to, you to stand a chance. It's called a transmission, and it stands a chance of of ruining the way that it's attached to the splines on each other, and then you have to have that replaced. So I highly recommend people to actually take the time and pull the wiper blade up. Some people I've seen have them pulled up when it's going to storm. Um, I'm kind of for it. It depends on where you are, as to whether you would want to do that. If you feel safe doing that and not wanting somebody to come along and pop it down, or if it's very windy, I wouldn't set them up, because there's a chance, or if it's raining really bad, the wiper blade could, come down on the windshield, and then you have a broken windshield. But the most important thing is breaking the ice between the blade itself and the windshield, and cleaning that off before you turn your wiper blades on, because other than that you're going to run into issues. um, and what I have personally, I purchased a windshield cover where it stretches across my windshield and covers my rear view side mirrors, and you put part of it, you open the door and you put uh excuse me, these pieces inside the door to keep it attached to the vehicle. So when you walk out in the morning, if it's or while you're shopping or whatever, excuse me, you just walk out and pull that off, and you don't have anything to worry about. So and that's been, I've loved that when I've walked out in the morning and needed to get somewhere, and I didn't have to sit there and scrape, have take a
Yeah.
half hour for my defrost to heat up the ice and melt the ice off, it saves you a lot of time. So, and there are many different types that are designed to fit your car.
That
Wow.
reminds me, I've been meaning to do that. It's in my Amazon basket. I will be ordering mine tonight because it's time.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
You,
All
you,
right.
it's so many things that we need to be aware of, preparing your car. I remember in my younger days when I had used cars, I would get it and all I did was really put gas in it and drive. And at the point, it put me down whereas times where I really didn't need to be put down. You might, had a job interview or you might be late at night and want to go home
Hmm.
when you're creeping or something like that.
Hmm.
And
Huh?
your car doesn't start and you
When
creeping,
you what, James?
and your car won't start, you probably
What
gonna
can
get caught. But anyway, that's besides the point. And
Donna,
that was a long
Donna,
time ago. I think the statute of
Donna.
limitations covers me now. I don't think a disgruntled boyfriend can come after me now. But anyway, uh, those things you don't want to be caught in those situations. Where your car doesn't start. I saw you shake your head. Good God, he's telling that. But you don't want to get caught in any kind of situation. So it behooves you to make sure you do these things that Chris was telling you to do to prepare your car, especially during the winter.
Hmm.
And Chris, tell us, because it's even if you do all these things, sometimes you can get caught. Like you're on the interstate and something happens, and you might have to call AAA. And sometimes you have to even if you have AAA or you have insurance where they will come, but sometimes it takes a little while for them to get there. I've called AAA and
Hmm.
they'll tell you, well, it's a lot going on. It might be 2 hours before I can get to
Right.
you.
Right.
So you have to be prepared to sit in that car
Hmm.
in freezing weather. So it's certain things you need to
Unfortunately.
do to be prepared for
say?
something like that.
I,
What
I
would you
just
suggest?
received my fur throw for my car last week.
Yeah,
Okay, to
Hmm.
keep in my car, fur
Right.
yeah.
throw. Hmm.
Right.
These are things
Um.
people don't think about. But go ahead, Chris.
Right. Um. I would say get a safety kit. Have a good set, not those, not not those jumper cables that are as thin as my a
Yeah.
good set of jumper cables that can start your car. Some gloves, um, even some wipes. Now wipes because you may no telling what you would need to do. As far as being able to clean, you need to be able to clean your hands. Now there are also these packs of warmers, warm packs that
Hmm.
you could break, that you can, a lot of people use when they go to sporting events. They keep their, they can break them.
Hand
Like,
warmers, yes.
yeah, okay, thank you. Um, the other thing would be a flashlight with good
Hmm.
batteries. Um, and some people have gotten those that have the where the flashlight flashes, because if you're out there and you're say changing your tire, you want that. You don't want a single light because people aren't used. Whether if it's flashing, people are more aware of something flashing than they are if the light is just on, because they're curious about what that is. Um, um, what else? A good like a pair of old tennis shoes, or a good um good pair of boots that are insulated. So if you have to get out in the snow or the rain, and you can get some anti-slip type um boots that are have the thick soles, or the treaded type soles, where that if you're on ice you can walk more careful than with tennis shoes. Or should I say tennis, or what's the other word? Because depending on
Sneakers.
which part of the
I
country
said
you're in,
tennis one time. They didn't know what I was talking about. I guess
right?
sneakers
It
is the
depends on,
term.
yeah, sneakers.
Yeah, I
Depends on what
said,
part of the country that you're from, right?
yeah,
So,
soda, pop,
um,
you know.
right, exactly, right. Um, And then some people have the try. You go to some place like I really don't like giving anybody any of these stores any props, but um, they have the triangular markers that you could display that hopefully people see. A lot of people, I don't know why people ignore it. And
The
sometimes they have
cameras in
flashes
the
on
window.
them, and then sometimes they just have the reflective type markers that.
Mhm.
But people do the worst thing that they do is they set them right by the car, where you should be set. They should be set. You have should have a couple of them. One that is right, definitely behind the car, but then another one should be placed several feet from that, at least another 50 feet away from you. And you hopefully, if your battery is not dead, then excuse me, that you would be able to have your flashes on. Now, in the state of Virginia, if you have those markers out, and because of the new law that they have here, and you hit that person, you definitely need to get a lawyer.
Yeah.
That's a
Anyway,
Because
motorcycle.
you're going to be in
and
a lot of trouble. You're going to be in a lot of
and,
trouble.
and all that's so important. You being a truck driver, most truck drivers know to keep those sort of things, that travel those long distances, because people will keep everything in their trunk except
Right,
what they
What they
need
need.
for what
right.
they need. The trunk should be for putting your luggage when you're traveling,
Hmm.
and the rest, most of the space should be used in some area, or if you have to have a box with all this stuff in, for safety issues
Right,
or preventative things that you can use that might happen when you're on the road,
right,
especially even if you're not going long distances. You might be right here in Hampton Roads, and you're traveling some of the roads you travel on Hampton Roads might be these long winding roads in Chesapeake and Suffolk and stuff like that, and to get
right,
caught out there where it's pitch dark,
right,
and
right.
you need to have
And no
these
place to pull
things
over because there's no
right,
shoulder. It's just, yeah.
no
Or
shoulder,
it's a
and
ditch, particularly
right,
out there in Chesapeake and Suffolk, and Pongo.
yeah,
They're ditches. So,
yeah, or you hit a
right,
deer or something,
right.
so you just have to be prepared, and most people and don't think about this, because I know I certainly didn't. Like I said earlier, I just drove the car and thought it was going to be okay. I drove the car, got it inspected, and passed the basic things. But when it broke down, it broke down at inopportune times, you know.
Hmm.
And, and
Right,
and then when it broke down, it was something so serious. It didn't even make sense to get it repaired. So,
right.
all these things are so important, and thanks for sharing that. Uh,
You welcome.
but before we go, I want each of us maybe to share some stories about how people are driving today. And
Mm.
because I had one person we were sitting at a stoplight, and the person was behind me, and they were so anxious. I'm waiting for the stoplight to turn, and they just went around me and went through the stoplight. And I said, okay, they must have an emergency on their way to Maryview or something. And they pulled into Burger King, and then I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. I said, okay, they late for work, and they
Mm-mm.
went to the drive-in window. I guess they were really hungry. But I mean, it didn't make sense, and you see that
it's
all the
it's
time.
it's
I'm
all in
seeing
priorities,
now a lot of
right?
people making turns without putting the
Hmm.
signal on, and or in the
And then
neighborhood
get
where a
mad at
stop
you,
sign is, huh?
right?
Yeah,
And then get
you
mad
know,
at you. Yeah,
can't and then get mad at me, give you that
right,
look, that highway look,
right,
that you better
right,
not say nothing. Road
right,
rage can just pop up, or
right.
people not stopping at stop signs in the neighborhood where children are playing. And I
Hmm.
don't know what it is now. It just seems, I don't know if I'm only seeing this, but people are not doing things. If you don't stop, even if there's nothing coming, then most things we do is muscle memory. So
Hmm.
if you don't stop at the stop sign because nothing is coming, then it's not going to be a habit that you have. and you might just run through all stop signs, and that one time a
Right.
car's coming,
That's it.
not
Right.
putting your signal light on. If
That's
that's
right.
not something that you
I've
automatically
had
do,
I won't I've had that happen so many times. People pulling out of their neighborhood and they just know nobody's coming, and they're doing what they call a roll stop, whatever they
yeah,
call it. It's a roll stop. So what's a roll stop? Stop is stop.
Not a
Okay.
stop. It's not
And
a stop.
right.
I know for sure you'll get
Right.
a ticket for a roll stop.
Yeah.
If a policeman happens to be around and you
Hmm.
do a roll stop, and
Hmm.
a roll that doesn't even go together. A roll
Right.
stop, you're
Roll
not
stop.
stopping,
Right.
but
Right.
you get
You
a
just
ticket
slowed
for that.
down. You didn't stop.
You didn't
Right.
stop,
Right. I've had that
but
happen and
I'm
with the cars coming out and I'm coming on to them and it's like they didn't stop and I have to stop and I got people behind me,
yeah,
coming up on me and I have to make an abrupt stop. And my thinking that they're going to keep coming out, I have to stop and these people behind me don't know I'm about to stop and then I get rear-ended because this idiot is still trying to come out on the road. And then they go like this, like, sorry, no, there ain't no
yeah,
sorry. I just got hit because of you.
yeah.
That's just
You going
crazy.
too slow. You see him in the mirror.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, you
That
just gonna
brings
have to
me
wait
to
because I'm
another
not.
point.
Yeah,
Um, I feel that that person that rear-ended you was following too close. Always
Oh
keep
yeah,
oh
enough
yeah,
yeah,
distance
yeah. Of
between you
course.
and the car in front of me. Nothing makes me grit my teeth like when I'm in the fast lane and
Hmm.
somebody just arbitrarily just rolls on over in front of me because there's room for you in front of me. That does not mean you should get in
Oh,
front of me.
all right. Don't even get me started
No
about trucking,
blinker,
man. Right.
nothing.
We could
Just
do a whole
roll
hour
on
on my
over,
adventures
all
as a truck
yeah,
driver.
cavalier.
yeah. I just brought that up because
And it's
it
so
just seems like
dangerous.
people are not paying attention like they used to, and I think
They're very
everything has gotten
impatient.
so fast. People have to
Yes,
Right.
be.
that's
I
what
see
it has to do
people
with.
in a hurry to go home. I mean, and the only reason you be in a hurry to go home, you really got to go to the bathroom.
No, they're in a hurry to go nowhere.
They're hurry to go nowhere, and more than likely they didn't had 5 or 6 accidents going nowhere, or a
Right.
bunch of tickets,
You're
Right.
weaving in and
and
out of
not learning their
traffic
lesson.
to
What
get
you
to
say,
the
Tony?
light. You're weaving in and out of traffic to get to the light in front of me instead of behind me. Didn't we
And
both
you
just
pull up
finish
right
the
beside
light?
them at the red light,
We're both still at the
I
same
just
red light.
I
That
just had that happen to me today.
and they never look over at you because they know, you looking at them say, "See, what did you
that
get?
is that is just so dumb.
How did that work out for you?"
Right.
We still got here the same time.
They come past me at 80 miles an hour and get to the same red light, and I'm going, hi.
But
Well, I
it
wouldn't
used to
do
be,
that. People will shoot you in Atlanta.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah. Sometimes you just have to let it go. It used to be a
It's
commercial out a
just
long
so
time ago.
dumb.
Always look out for the other guy,
Right.
and that
Yep.
goes true now. As long as you watching out for the other guy, that means the other guy's watching out for you. So, but
Right.
most people don't do that. So that's what I try to
No.
do when I'm driving now. I don't take anything for granted. If you got your signal light on, I'm not going to take advantage or take for granted you will actually turn. You know,
Right.
because you've seen that happen. People signal light on, and you say, "Okay, they're gonna turn." You and you pull out, and they were going straight,
Right.
and that's
I
an
actually have
accident.
gotten in an accident that way. And that was
Oh
way back
God.
when I first started driving. And I took the notion that they were going to turn in, and I pulled out on them, and they kept straight. And I was like, and I got hit, that's because I was a young driver, and I trust me,
Well,
I don't do
They
people
it
will
were
make
probably
anymore.
back
most
then. They were
people will
probably
make that
doing
assumption,
it.
though. Most people would make that assumption that you're
Right,
gonna turn.
right, right. That's
Wow.
right. That's right.
Um, what I'd like
But
to say
anyway,
is
go ahead,
consider
sir.
your car as your baby. If you take care of your baby will take care of you.
Right,
Take care of your baby
right,
because it's
I
a
used
big
to,
investment and you need to treat her as such.
right.
yeah, and it can kill as well.
Yes,
I used to like to ride my mother around because everybody else other than me were fools. She'd be sitting on the passenger side. Watch out for that fool. Look at that fool. What that fool doing? I was the best driver that she knew, but everybody else driving out there were fools.
Was a
And
fool.
yeah,
yeah.
and
I
now,
probably sound like your mother. What's up
yeah,
with this fool?
well, yeah, I was going to say now I have that same attitude. Everybody, look at that fool. But most of the time it's legit. They be making some bad mistakes, but. Chris, we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge. And we hope to have you back again to do that same thing because I think people should, sometimes we'll hear something for one time and then the next time, it goes away from our mind. But this is something that probably we need to be reminded of. Car maintenance, a lot of people car might not last as long. You see some people with cars over 20 years old still running well because they really maintain, or you see somebody with a 3-year-old car that just falls apart because they didn't do some of the basic things like changing the
Right.
oil. I mean, you want to mess up your engine, don't change your oil
Right.
Yes.
and
Exactly.
basic things like that. So,
Right.
especially with the cost of cars now, you want to sort of stretch it out, as long as you can. So we really appreciate you coming on and sharing that knowledge
You're welcome.
and coming back.
And next
Any
time I
last
maybe, just if you have people that will need have questions, maybe they could send them to you and then I can come back on and try to answer them.
Feel free
Yeah,
to drop them in the comments even after the show is over if you have
even
questions.
after the show, and we'll make sure she gets them and
Yeah.
schedule another show where she can answer.
We like
Yeah.
we like interactive, which brings me to a point. There were a few shows ago where I asked our viewers about their take on a certain situation. I described a situation where we'll say a friend of mine, she's getting divorced. Mediation is next week, as a matter of fact, between she and her husband. But she wanted her estranged husband to give her money to help her with their children. He refused to do so. So she decided to go to his house where he lives with his girlfriend that he left her for. And she took his car and put it in her garage. So after a couple of days, she never heard from him. So obviously, he didn't know she had taken the car. Legally, it's their car because it's marital property. So
Okay.
Um, so after a couple of days, she felt really good about what she had done. What happened was he ended up sending her like $150. Now, mind you, the mortgage that he left her with was $26.45 per month, and
Mm.
children that need to eat. Okay, he sent her $150. So she took the car, put it in the garage, and of course she went through the car and console and all of that, and she found receipts where he had been in her area recently, like maybe a few days before she took the car to the bank, because there was a bank receipt that said that he had something like, I want to say $7,800 in his account, but he had given her $150 to help her with the bills and the kids. And also, he had withdrawn like, I don't know, over $1,000, and that's what was left in the account was $7,800. So this infuriated her even more. But she felt good that she had done that, just to know that he was stressing over where his car was. She said, well, he can just drive his girlfriend's car for a while. She's been driving our car, so she won't be driving it now. So after a couple of days, she actually called the police and told them that she had the car. So that means that they took it off of the stolen car list.
Okay.
And of course, they contacted him to let him know that it was being taken off of the stolen car list. So now he knew where the car is. So fast forward, I spoke with her just this morning, and I want to say this happened just yesterday. She watched him on the Ring camera. He came and broke into her house and took his car back. She
Wow.
said
This
he didn't take anything else that she knew of at the moment, but she watched him do all of this. Well, she had the car in the garage, so he had to go out to the garage to crank it up to take it out of the garage. So now it wouldn't crank. There was a flat tire and it wouldn't crank because she had had a professional to come in. He had all of this elaborate speaker system and all of this stuff installed. So she had a professional to come in and uninstall all of this equipment he had put in the car, and she sold it for the money because she needed money for her kids.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
apparently, in the process of them doing that, maybe they hit something that disabled the car from cranking. I don't know, but he ended up having the car towed from from the garage, and she just sat there. She said she didn't say a word to him. So I had asked people what was their take on it when the car was missing. I don't think we had any comments on that, but it would have just been interesting to see different
uh,
perspectives on that.
maybe
She said
maybe
that,
we'll get some before the meteoration, and we can compare what
yeah.
actually happened to what people
What would you
think.
do? How do you
What
feel
would you
about
do? And
that?
because it
Yeah,
sounds like a soap opera as the world turns or something like that.
Right.
it's
You sure that
terrible.
wasn't a scene from?
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not.
Yeah.
She's going through it. I'll just put it that way. She just,
Well,
you know,
most of those shows are based on real life anyway. So
you
as
see,
strange as it may
you know
seem,
how that
people
can happen,
actually
right,
go through.
Jane? Yes.
Yes, yes,
She's
indeed.
really going through it. He left her right before she lost her mother. He didn't even come to the funeral or even acknowledge, her loss. I think
Oh
that's
man,
pretty cold.
it just keeps getting worse.
It,
Yes, it
that's
does.
that's
Yes.
that's pretty cold.
Wow. Wow.
Seriously.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, Chris. Before you go, you do have. I see you have on as the hoodie you have on, and it's
Yeah.
a T-shirt hanging back there.
I
Is
like
that
it.
one other thing? Yeah. Tell
This is
people
one of my
about
new
the
that's
other
my one of
business.
my
Yeah.
new launches. Ace Ace with perfection.
Oh, I
To
like that. I might have to
perfection.
get one of those.
Hey,
And
yeah.
I
what
I
like
got
the
colors
them
do
in
they
shirt.
come
I
in?
have them in hoodies, and I have another launch coming too. That's to be announced. But then yes, it does have the t-shirts. Oh, the other way, the t-shirts as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's for those OGs, that
Yeah, and you're
that are
you're talking
aged
to
with
two
perfection.
OGs right now. So
Right.
so tell people how can they purchase that, or what's the best way to the website or whatever.
Well, they can contact me uh, two different ways via email, and that's at Blue Velvet
Mm,
3442 at gmail.com, or they can call at 804 And that's Blue Velvet Tees. That's T apostrophe Z.
okay.
And make sure you
So
put that
come
in the
on now.
comments.
You got to show us up because we know some of
Make
us
sure you put
just
that in the
will
comments too.
definitely age to perfection.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, so that's nice. I like that.
Yeah, it is nice.
I think I might have to contact you to have to figure out what color I want. Especially the hoodies.
Yeah,
And
well, right
I
now I
like.
only have I'm only going to have the hoodies in royal blue and purple right now.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Both
because
of those are very
I'm selling these direct. It's
okay.
not a website that you can go to. So,
Both of
Okay.
those are very
'Cause
regal
I
colors.
think I have to go with the royal blue. If I go with the purple and gold, they might think I'm a Q or something like that. Mega Sci-Fi, and they come
Okay.
up to you, but that's
Okay.
okay.
Okay. All right. I might have to. It depends on requests. Um, but later on, after I see how this rides, the next color may probably be black. So that would probably match you, right,
Mm.
Slim?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I
Okay.
like the black, and but what other color? I'll get what you have.
Okay.
Whatever color. Yeah, I'm not shying away from the purple and gold either, but
Okay.
that could
All
be the
right.
Minnesota Vikings or somebody.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, but thanks again, everybody. And Shona, you have any last words? You just gave that "As the World Turns" story, and we'll see if we get any response from that. But I feel for the young lady. But I like to hear his side, but I don't know if he has too much of a side. But there's two sides to every story, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how he could clean that up, but okay.
Yeah,
We'll
that
listen.
seems like that'd be kind of hard to do, especially the
The,
break-in thing. I mean, he
the
just
facts are the
ruined everything by breaking in the house and taking his car or their car.
I'm glad he
Wasn't his
didn't take
car, it was their
anything,
car.
but I'm sure he knew that he would definitely be locked up if he took anything. So she's letting that go, and I think she's just tired of drama and ready for it to be over with. I hope things go well in mediation. I just hate that she's going through it because she's still grieving her mother.
Wow.
Well, everybody, be
Un-
safe out there, especially these areas like Indiana and I guess Chicago and places that are already getting the snow and have the roads are really. I saw a video about truck drivers, Chris, that you know they can't see the markings on the road. They just pull over, But it's you have more an advantage. Some of those trucks, some of those rigs are made to sleep in, and they
right.
can keep the motor running, and they can just pull over to the side and not take a chance on the highways when it's full of snow and ice, and we didn't even talk about the black ice that's on some of the roads where you
Yeah,
don't even see it.
that's a whole nother
You know,
episode, I guess.
that's
Yep.
a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Episode and how to drive in those kind of conditions if you have to.
Right.
If you don't have to, don't go out there. But a lot of people have to for their jobs or whatever. So
Yep. Yep.
We're gonna talk about that too. It may not be next episode, but it's coming. We got
it's
some hot
coming.
topics, y'all. Hot
Yeah.
topics. And I just like to say,
Well,
as always,
informative.
subscribe. Like every one of the podcasts and share if you care.
Yes, indeed. And Chris, take care of that cough. I know this is that time of the
Yeah.
year when we catch
Yeah,
things.
I'm an asthmatic, and I got some pulmonary issues, but we're handling it. We're handling it.
Okay, indeed. But thanks
She's
for
handling it like a trooper.
thanks for doing what you did, even going through that. We really appreciate it, and I think it was very valuable to people. Uh, to me, for one thing, some things I need to do, even though I'm better at checking on things now, but now I can add some more things to the list I need to do to be ready. I'm too old to be getting out the car, changing the tires, and
There you go.
pushing the car. I've done that a lot. Push the car.
Can't do
I
that
can't do
anymore,
that
man.
anymore.
Right. Right. Right.
All right,
We'll
everybody, take care.
everybody make that list.
How
Bye
about it?
bye.
Take care,
Okay.
everybody. We'll see you next time. See you, Shona. Take care
See
of
you
yourself
next
too.
time.
Bye bye.
Okay, you got your wave in, Shona.
Okay.
All right, bye bye.